Hey guys, Bird Yugioh here. So today, I'm not quite sure what I'm going to title this one, but it's basically 10 extra deck cards that you need to be playing. They're pretty generic for the most part. You can play them in most of the decks that you're probably playing already. And some of them are, most of them are ones that you already know, but it's hopefully you get something out of it. Hopefully you see one that maybe you were on the fence about, but these are all amazing cards. Some are a little specific, but they're all extremely good for what they do. If you need any of the cards shown in this video, there's a link in the description for tcgplayer. That's the best place to get your cards, and by far the cheapest place to get them. So in no particular order, I'm just going to start with number 10 right here. Of course, the classic Abyss Dweller. Still to this day, probably one of the best just shotgun rank 4 XYZs that you just throw on the board, and it's more than likely gonna hurt your opponent because almost every deck, especially in the meta, needs effects, going off in the grave, and this just shuts them off. So yeah, really good rank 4 that you should be playing in. Really, any deck that can make a rank 4, you should probably have this in there somewhere. Same thing with this card, another extremely generic. It has gone up in price lately, but number 60, Dugaris, the Timeless, is an amazing card with 3 really good effects that will help any deck. One of these effects will draw, one will special summon, and one is going to double the attack of a monster you control. So that's going to help you in just about any circumstance that you're put in. So it's definitely a card to keep an eye on. I wanted to do just one synchro. Synchro's not too crazy right now, but this is definitely one that you need, mostly because it got a reprint, and that's Borreload Savage. It's a generic level 8 synchro that you can play in any deck that plays, it can make rank 4s and maybe get a level 4 tuner out there. You can play something like this. The only thing with this is you have to have a link monster in your grave, and then you attach it to this from the grave, and then it gets some counters on it that you can then negate pretty much anything. So yeah, it's an amazing card, but again, you have to have just that link monster in the grave before you make him, and it's other than that, it's pretty generic. Number 7 is Isolde. It's not quite as generic, but for any warrior-based deck, you should be playing this card. It is really good. You just need to have, of course, play some equip spells, and then you just get a free summon from your deck, which helps you out immensely. But yeah, any warrior-based deck you're playing, you should probably have this in there. Number 6, going with Rusty Bardich. It's by far my favorite card to play in any deck that has just dark monsters, or can make a couple of links that are dark and then go into him. It's just free negates basically, or free extenders, or just crazy combos are possible with this card, and it's just really good. So kind of mostly dark based decks, but there's still ways around that if you play other dark links, because it just requires any 2 dark monsters, and it's a link 3. So kind of easy to make, but yeah, really powerful. You will, of course, have to play a couple Phantom Knight monsters, and then, of course, the spells and traps in your deck as well. But otherwise, amazing card. Number 5 right here, Yugioh. It's not used quite as often as it was when it first came out, but mostly because it's a link 4, so it requires quite a bit there, and you can only maximize out of the use of it if you use 4 monsters for the link summon, and then you can draw 4 and then shuffle 3 or put 3 back into the deck. So it's basically it's draw power, and then you get a free special summon from hand. It's really good. It also boosts the attack of a monster that's normal or special summoned to a zone by 300. So he is very good. If you can have a deck that can easily make rank 4s, rank 4s, then Yugioh is definitely one to have in that deck. Number 4, Heretic Seal, dragon-based strategies. Definitely play this card. It just requires 2 dragon monsters, and you're just getting a free interruption. Amazing card, and it gets you a free special summon from your deck. Really good. I play in basically any dragon-based deck. I'm playing Heretic Seal. This is another one along with Dugaris that are kind of a little higher priced, mostly because they're used in meta decks. Of course, that's usually why prices go up. But at one time, they were both just a couple bucks each. They were very cheap, so hopefully you have those already. But very generic, again. Obviously, this one not as much. Does require dragon types, but there's a lot of really good dragon decks out there that you can play it in. Number 3, Appaloosa. It is one of the best, Link 4s that you can play. It was never cheap until now, until it got this gold reprint. Now you can get it for, I believe, still under 10 bucks. I haven't checked the price in a while, but when I got it, it was definitely under 10 bucks. But, you get monster negates. You can even make it with just a couple of Link monsters and still have a couple of monster negates. So regardless of, ideally you want to do 4, but if you can do just 2, you still get 2 monster negates out of this card. It's pretty good. Number 2 is actually 3 cards. Basically the Nightmares. Nightmare Cerberus, Phoenix, Unicorn. I play them in just about every deck I have, mostly because of just how generic they are. And they're good at, this one's destroying a monster, destroying a spell and trap, and then targeting a card in the field and returning it to the deck. So yeah, they're all, this one doesn't destroy. These 2 will destroy, but, they can break boards. They're even draw power too. If you happen to have, another Link like Yugioh that you summon them to, and their arrows, if they're co-linked, you get to draw a card. But yeah, mostly just board breakers. Very good cards that you should be playing in just about any deck. And then the number 1 is IP Masquerena. It's another one that did get a recent reprint, and it is so generic, it's crazy. You can use this and another Link 2 or whatever to go into Appaloosa on your opponent's turn, or use it to go into a bunch of different things. You can use it to go into Unicorn for disruption again on your opponent's turn, to use Unicorn's effect. But yeah, IP Masquerena, really good. And also, something people usually forget about this is that the Link monster cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects that you summon with this. So going into cards like, sorry, it's a little blurry. Mech Knight Crusadia is killer if you go into this with IP Masquerena on your opponent's turn. It's a really cool card to do, but yeah. So again, it's probably all cards you guys are very familiar with, but it's definitely ones I would recommend you pick up any of these that you think you might need. They're all extremely good. But yeah, just thought I'd do a fun little video like this for you guys. But yeah, I will be back with a deck profile for you here real quick, so we will catch you on the next one.